Whereas on the other side of things, Ray Farkey, if he has that teleport up or if he has that flash up, it becomes a lot easier for them to find a fight, as well as they can just go off the back of Harp landing a hook, Harp using his ult or Steel landing his ult as well.
I will say, though, this DFM comp, if you take out the Zeri, they actually do run out of steam on a lot of these champions. Against something like a Lilia, if Kevy can get a decent amount of gold this game and put himself in a good position when these team fights become, 3v3s, 4v3s, he can really take over on the Lilia because only the Zeri really does consistent damage.
Yeah, right. But it is Arya, right? So you're not really too concerned about him mispositioning. We haven't seen like almost a single mistake out of him so far. So I think, well, yeah, if the Zeri didn't exist, yes, they do run out of steam. The Zeri does exist, unfortunately. So you do have to just not really consider the fact that it doesn't exist. If you get a pick on it, yeah, you should just run away with the team fight. But I think Zeri, it's always known as a very safe champ. As long as you're near a wall, you're pretty hard to ever truly lock down and take out. And Biopanther, he's going to be doing similar to Ryu and going for that exhaust teleport in that top side on the Cassante. Now, I do once again have to somewhat question it because maybe you think the bot lane skirmish, when you have no Ignite, is just so weak that you really want that Ignite on this engaged support. But it does now mean that the playmaking potential out of this Cassante has been lowered a very significant amount.
Yeah, especially when, like we were saying, you put so much value on taking out this Zeri. Flash would be quite helpful for the Cassante to maybe get Arya out of these fights. If not kill him, just take him out of the fight. And I hated it when Ray Farkey did it. I hate it when, when Ryu did it. And I'm hating it when Bio did it. There were so many fights in that series where Ryu just never even got a chance to exhaust the Kennen.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you need this exhaust to survive in the 1v1. I imagine you don't.
No, you definitely don't. You can kind of just get Merc Treads and Kennen can't kill you.
Yeah, and exhaust doesn't feel amazing on Cassante, but we have seen it make game-winning plays for this champion in previous games. So, or the Flash.
Yes, yeah, right. I was thinking I haven't, but
yeah, sorry, yeah, the Flash has definitely made some game-winning plays, and it's nice to have. But we'll see. We'll see if Bio can make us believers in the exhaust this game.
Yeah, I mean the exhaust you needed against the Kennen. I just think it could have been. It's probably just, and I don't know if it's very controversial, but I do think it's just better to have on your support.
So DFM kind of fishing around with how much prio they have here. They've forced Aladoric out of lane to just protect Kevy on this first clear. Will be okay, though. And you expect Violet and Aladoric to start doing a little better in this lane once you get level 3 now on the Varus.
Yeah, I think importantly as well in this bot lane matchup is that Violet will be able to get some early lifesteal to match the early lifesteal that almost certainly will come out of Udapon, right? Your first item as that Varus will be that Blade of the Ruined King. So. Yeah,
and I'm hoping for BT on the MF. That feels a lot better than the Essence Reavers we've seen.
Yeah, I agree. I think just being able to buy Bloodthirster first is such a cheat sheet.
Yeah.
It makes sense as well into Varus and Corki to have that lifesteal available early to you.
Yeah, look at all the prio Arya has in the mid lane. Already getting himself a bit of a CS lead too. Ray Farkey, similar position, so it's kind of across the map on these first few waves. DFM with all the prio.
See how much gold Biopanther has. I mean, he should be able to pick up a Null Magic Mantle, but you really want to be able to get... Oh, actually has his base recall. Can be stopped there.
Yeah. Should be fine. I don't think he's worried about getting dived ever. He does have Kevy right beside him.
Yeah, and he's okay now. 2 tower shots only taken by Ray Farkey. But yes, Sejuani is in their bot side. Team Bliss, they need to realize they are the weak side of the map. Violet, with that piercing arrow, almost getting 1 kill for himself, is going to be able to flash away, as will Aladoric. And here we go, the flash forward, the hook connects. Violet, he's in trouble, he's stunned up, and he's first blooded. It's going to be Udapon, that absolute legacy player on the Misfortune, picking up the first blood here in game number 1.
Yeah, only 1 flash used by DFM as well. It looked like Team Bliss had outplayed the gank and managed to walk out of there, but nice flash from Harp. Cool, calm, and collected by DFM through this whole play as well. Trying to crash the wave are Team Bliss. And they actually are fighting on top of the wave with their jungler in the top side. Feel emboldened to do so because they are up XP, or were up XP.
Yeah,
and then Violet just hangs around too long. This auto on the Sejuani.
Picture-in-picture.
Probably something he regrets doing, as picture-in-picture looks like a fight over the Raptors that You won't know who won, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I think I need to point out as well, the series that Team Bliss won up against Frank, the reason they were so far behind, we saw it at the start of the series, right? That 3.5k gold deficit at 14 minutes. The reason that happened time and time again was that Team Bliss were just over-aggressing on their weak side of the map. They're on the side of the map that Kevy's not on, playing aggressive and getting punished by the jungler. Now, it is a little bit concerning that has continued here into this series as well. Certainly, you know, this game not over by any means, but going forward in the next couple of games, have to watch out for that. The bowling ball does connect here from Kevy, and this should be a very dead Nautilus. Harp getting way too big for his boots, and Hayri is going to reap the benefits of that as he does claim himself his first blood here on the side of Team Bliss.
Yeah, and Aladoric, so far through these playoffs, anytime he can get around the map and start making plays, it just goes well for Team Bliss, and again, they pick up a kill.
And who better to have it on, right? This player, Hayri, so much experience. He's played international. He is touted as one of, if not the best mid laner in the region. He gets his first blood here on that Corki, on that very hyper-scaling champion. As Aladoric kicks flash forward, and they find the engage. Slicing Maelstrom coming down for Ray Farkey as Arya trying to find the damage, but it's a kill, and the Void Drop's picked up here for the side of Team Bliss as that pathway can be used to run away. The stun does come through, however, and Aladoric going to commit his life to try and save his teammates, but Arya might just have that dash through. Ray Farkey is going to be here following up, trying to get to Hayri. The stun, the hook, and it's a disaster fight. It's a triple kill for Arya. You feel good about one kill on that Corki, but 3 for Zeri is a disaster.
What an ultimate out of this Kennen. Ray Farkey, they contest this. DFM contests this fight down a member. Nautilus wasn't there for the beginning, but this ulti from the Kennen, just watch him. This looked like suicide from Steel, and it essentially was, but he did it to set up his teammates. Aladoric plays well to get onto Steel here. They commit a lot onto him. Definitely worth it to kill him, but Ray Farkey gets exhausted, but the damage is done by that point. Bio not a threat onto this Arya on this area at all.
Yeah, and as you said, he got the exhaust down right, but it was after pretty much the entire Slicing Maelstrom was used, simply because he wasn't able to get to that fight in time.
Yeah.
And this is the problem we see. Aladoric was already there. He has his Ignite up, so he could have probably found an angle to use that exhaust in that fight, deny a lot of that damage, and maybe with the numbers advantage, they're able to take the win despite the 4-man Slicing Maelstrom coming through. But all things said and done, it's DFM feeling really good about the state of this game as they are at a 1k gold advantage.
Yeah, and this Zeri getting fed is a worst-case scenario. Kevy running at Ray Farkey will not connect.
Yeah, but he might be able to still get his way onto there. Does have the ultimate. No, it looks like Ray Farkey just fast enough with those tier 1 boots to get out of dodge.
Yeah, Kevy using his flash in that previous fight along with most of... actually, along with just Ray Farkey, really. Means he can't really get on him there.
Arya, full build, full item rather. He picks up that static shiv, and he
8
is
minutes.
Going to have a lot of mid lane priority at this point of the game, because it is just the Phage and a Tear of the Goddess for that side of Team Bliss and Hayri, and he is obviously far ahead of the map. I guess he is accelerated, but he's not as accelerated as his counterpart. And Arya, with that flash available, as soon as that ult comes up, it means that pretty much any objective that DFM want to take should be able to get it, just because of how far ahead Arya finds himself.
Yeah, and it's going to be about just finding a timing if you're Team Bliss where you can fight. It's certainly not now if you look at the items in the mid lane. Maybe wait till this tier is finished for the Corki, get the 2-item power spike that we talk about so often, and see if you can get a pick on the Zeri. The bright side for Team Bliss is the game plan, in my eyes, hasn't really changed. You need to get onto the Zeri, lock her down, and kill her. However you do it, you just have to figure out a way to do it, and then hope that your Lilia can take over these fights.
Yeah, I think importantly, Arya doesn't have cleanse, right? So you can, at one stage of this game, look for that CC chain through either it be Aladoric engaging or Kevy, and that can be sort of your way back. But Aladoric, he's trying to clear out this wall, will be able to do so, but unfortunately he's stunned up. There's 2 ults committed. Aladoric, though, he might be able to find his way out, and he does. What a Houdini escape. I mean, great job by him to deny any kills and also take a bunch of these cooldowns down. Yeah,
impressive by Aladoric. That is such a relief for his team. The Nautilus ulti being down, the Sejuani ulti being down now is just going to let his carries be that much safer. Farming up, he does lose his flash, and he will certainly miss that. But in terms of tempo, that feels amazing.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a pretty difficult game to navigate, all things considered. I think you're probably going to end up having to give this second dragon over as well, just simply because by then how many items, I suppose, does Arya have, as well as Hayri is going to still be sitting on a tier.
Yeah.
But again, Team Bliss, in their last series, they came back from a more devastating gold lead than we find themselves at right here. And
yeah,
certainly can't count them out. They have the scaling of, obviously, the Varus in the late game. Very, very high in terms of that DPS. Harry as well on this Corki will be able to output a lot. And Kevy, of course, this Lilia never really falls off as the game progresses, which you can say the Sejuani will. Although Rayfaki being looked at.
Yeah, Aldoric unleashed on the map. Void Grub's already 3 picked up for Team Bliss, so I don't think they should try too hard to fight this. They have brought Varus up, though, so they do have a numbers advantage if they can find an engage here.
Yeah, Biopanther in the midst of this fight, he does have access to that exhaust. Aladoric going in, not going to be able to find anyone, but they are going to be able to claim that 4th Void Grub. It's going to mean they get that 1 Void Might spawning on tower attacks, but still, DFM, they're not willing to risk throwing when Udapon is just happily sitting down in the bot lane. 2 tower plates picked up from him, a bunch of farm, and while Violet is staying even in that isolated 1v1 between these 2 AD carries, Udapon feeling pretty good about getting some alone time down bot.
Yep, and Team Bliss just throwing members at the mid lane so that Arya can't really exploit his lead with this numbers disadvantage. For now, Udapon here, though, onto Kevy.
Yeah, Udapon using that priority he gained by sitting in that bot side to be able to come up here, and Aladoric is stuck in that river. He's going to be taken out. That's a 4th kill now for Arya on this Zeri. And you kind of said it right. You said if this Zeri didn't exist, you know, they're going to run out of gas, but I mean, this Zeri very, very much exists as he finds himself 4-0-0, only 12 minutes in.
Yeah, it's going to be a massive Zeri, and yeah, the bright side is that the game plan doesn't really change. You have to kill this Zeri at all costs if you're Team Bliss. And you don't have the most amazing tools to do it. Nice trade by Harry, but he just doesn't have the damage right now to really be a threat onto Arya.
Panther on the top side, he is 20 CS down. That's not all that surprising, but
yeah. And well played by Rayfaki. This is about as hard as you'd expect the Kennen to ever win this matchup.
Yeah, without some egregious misplay by Biopanther, he shouldn't ever really be taken out. And
yeah,
Rayfaki realizing that, just using his sort of laning strength to be able to pick up gold for himself in that creep score, as well as taking out some plates. 2 plates, I believe he did manage to claim for himself, as 1 plate down bot side will go to the wayside.
Leandri is going to be first up for Rayfaki. Looks like might be recalling for it now.
Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah, we've seen a few different approaches to the Kennen builds.
Yeah, you get the Arja approach and you get everyone else's approach, because everyone else builds Leandri's.
Yeah.
But Arja, he will not. Proto Belt, Rabadons.
Yeah, I'm more of a fan of that build, especially with the squishy members on Team Bliss, but we'll see what the Leandris can get done against the likes of Biopanther and maybe Aladoric.
Yeah, it does mean you maintain side lane pressure throughout the game, but I think ultimately as Kennen, you're pretty happy to just teleport in, outload all of your damage immediately, and even if you die, then who really cares? And
yeah, and
the Proto Belt gets you stuck in there, the Rabadons makes you do that damage.
Yeah, and this is horrible for Team Bliss. Kevy is losing his jungle to the Sejuani now. Harry's tower being whittled away, well, not really whittled away by Arya, kind of just getting demolished.
Well, Violet has to be careful here. He is definitely weak-sided. Rain Arrows, Harp, flash forward, does find the engage here, but it's Aladoric trying to turn it away as the chain of corruption does come through, and that bullet time gets cancelled out. Harp getting low, but not low enough. Bowling ball coming through, certainly won't be connecting, and all things said and done, we're going to lose that flash on Violet, but it is not the worst trade at the end of the day. However, Arya's down here now. Violet, no flash, has the cleanse. It's going to be very difficult to outplay this wave coming in. How will DFM do this? They just throw that ult. It hits Aladoric, but they don't care. It doesn't matter who it hits. The damage is here. Arya 1, Arya 2. It is 1 kill picked up there for Harp, as Harry's able to come in and at least get 1 back for the side of Team Bliss, killing off Steel on that Sejuani, but still everything's coming up DFM here for game 1.
Yeah, and Harry's always going to be late to this play against a 4-kill Zeri. He can never get first move. Does have his Triforce finished and picks up a kill off the back end, but a nice patiently played dive by DFM, knowing they have mid-prio. Biopanther known around him, goes for a little trade, but yeah, kind of falling apart now for Team Bliss. Mid-tower goes down for Arya too. He just got so much gold in this sequence, and he certainly wasn't short on gold before it.
Absolutely not, but look at the replay. I mean, it was just throw everything and go in, right?
Yeah. When you have this much gold, they just take out Aladoric first. Kevy's next up. Actually gets interrupted on his W by that nice hook from Harp. And only Steel really paying for DFM sins. Shield Bow is an intelligent pickup, I think, from Arya. Get a little bit tankier because you're not going to be struggling for damage ever as a 6-0 Zeri in this game.
Yeah, and you do like the Runans when you're against 3 melees, and while technically there is, the Lily is kind of a pseudo melee, right? Where she's not really going to be near where this Cassante or the Rallas for the majority of the game, and so you probably do just get more value out of that defensive stat.
Yeah, I'm a big advocate of building defensively when you're ahead, because it just makes it that much more difficult for the enemy to get shutdowns, and you'll be at least matching, if not still just doing more damage anyway. So Ray Farkey maintains his top lane prio for now. So he does have Aladoric hovering around him. This could be a nice kill to pick up.
Yeah.
14 Bliss, Kevy. Oh.
Yeah, he's going to not be caught out there by Steel's ultimate, and so that's a bit of pressure alleviated in terms of what can happen in the near future, although this dragon almost certainly going to be taken down. Harry actually just loses flash down. Yeah, he cannot be on the same screen. No one can be on the same screen as Arya right now. It's a very, very sizable gold advantage does Arya find himself at, and honestly, the rest of DFM are going to reap the rewards from that, as Udapon can kind of play around and play slowly, just collect some farm. You're seeing it, he's just 1-0-3 doing an honest job as that Misfortune. And it makes this game much easier as well for Harp and Steel to play, right? Because if Arya's there, they can go forward and they will win. Team Bliss, though, they have to do things like this, look for things on the top side, as they will be able to get there. They do use that ultimate on an already dead Kennen. As Arya comes in, it's a 2v4, but Arya's kind of like 3 people right now. He takes down one, can go aggressive, flashes forward. That's a second found for the Zeri, as he's still going aggressive. Has to be a little bit careful, but Udapon now arriving. Down comes the bullet time. Hayri is going to be taken out by this Misfortune, and Biopanther trying to answer back all out. He might be able to find the shutdown, but the value coming through from the shield bow is immense. Through comes that Q3, one auto. No, he's not able to find it, and Arya survives.
Oh my goodness, Arya's using his gold lead about as well as he could. Biopanther does his best to get onto him, uses the exhaust as well, but just cannot finish off this Zeri. Might have just been a silver lining to, you know, a pretty horrible outcome in the top lane.
It was
the whole time. Violet stuck in the mid lane too, not able to help.
What a game-defining, series-defining potential team fight out of Arya there. Already finding the value coming through from that shield bow. I mean, the initiation, this is exactly what Team Bliss need to do. They go to the weak side, find something, but it's just the teleport.
Yeah, Arya unafraid to just TP straight up into 3 people as a flank on a Zeri, because look how strong he is. Flashes forward too. Udapon with a flank on a Misfortune even, because Varus can just never get here. Team Bliss are down numbers even after killing the Kennen initially, and what a good try from Biopanther, but the stats and all the items on Arya, as well as Biopanther just having to itemize magic resist.
He missed one Q. I didn't see it in the middle of that fight, but I mean, that would have been a 1,000 gold shutdown onto this Cassante, and while maybe not the most impactful member, as we see it engage coming out mid, it is Violet who is able to use that cleanse, get himself away. Aladoric's also coming in on the top side. He is able to get out of any form of engage there coming through for DFM. Aladoric staying alive, and so does Violet, actually using both sums in that mid lane. This is, we said it at the top of the game, right? Very vulnerable will Violet be here on this Varus, and now if no summon is up, whatever the next team fight looks like, they got rid of Ray Farkey's flash, but there's just still so much engage that can come through onto Violet here on the Varus.
Yeah, Sejuani and Nautilus know who their target is going to be this next fight, right? Flashless, cleanseless Varus on hit as well, so he's quite short range.
I'm a level with you here, Arlo. I think they can choose whoever they want to be their target. Yeah. Because ultimately, Zeri is going to be able to hit everyone, and with 3 items compared to, you know, they have 2 items alone on Hayri, and that is it. Everyone else is kind of suffering on that 1 item. So essentially, you know, Arya finds himself 2 items up on the map. This is a very difficult now to deal with Zeri. He has the Bloodthirster as well, sort of going for even more defensive stats in many ways, right? As an offensive, defensive item in many ways, and you're not going to be able to poke down this Zeri in any way. You're not going to be able to compete with the damage. So what are you going to be able to do? I mean, Team Bliss, they want to be able to have these sort of team fights on multiple ends, right? They want to have Violet sort of safe and away from where the Kennen is, and in the meanwhile poke away at these health bars. It's going to be so impossible to create that uncertainty in the fights when DFM are this far ahead and can just go anytime they want.
Yeah, and you almost wish all this money was on anyone but Arya. We've seen him just be so consistent with this, with the money, with the gold. never really making mistakes, not slipping up, and it felt like BioPanther had one chance to kill him this game, and now with the Bloodthirster finished, can he even get through this Zeri's HP? At this point, it feels like Arya can just face tank the members of Team Bliss.
I do think it from this stage on, I mean, it should be pretty clear cut that DFM take game one.
Yeah.
But, you know, as Team Bliss have done before, it didn't really phase them last series, and I don't think they have to let it phase them this series, because ultimately, very akin to their series against Frank, it was off, you know, one misplay that Arya just found himself a bunch of kills, found a triple kill very, very early on into this game.
Yeah, it just broke the game.
It did break the game, and I think, well, yeah, it's good to keep trying to play, and as we said in the last series, myself and Telly, you know, you want to try and make DFM work for the end, because ultimately, if they can't get this across cleanly, while you expect them to win eventually, it can create doubts in their mind, as well as give confidence to Team Bliss that from such a disadvantage, they can still fight within this game, and if they find themselves on an even footing, should be able to pick up that win.
Yeah, when you're this far behind in a game state like this, anything going positively for Team Bliss should just boost your confidence, because you have no business winning a fight ever, or even making it look close.
Yeah, if they were to win a fight, though, it has to be off like a chain of corruption, really being the only thing I can see that reliably could possibly hit Arya. And if that does happen, they take down the Zeri, well, gold lead is pretty much entirely evaporated immediately. And that certainly can be an angle in, and it's got to be pretty much what Team Bliss have to look for. The problem being, of course, that they are just going to have this Sejuani and Nautilus stand in front of anything they could possibly throw out at all times.
And
talking about throw out, there goes that Glacial Prison. Violet is going to be taken out here. Lightning Crash coming down, nice CC, but there's no damage to follow up on it as Kiwi's trying to dip and dive around in this team fight. Eldrock flashes away, he is getting damaged. BioPanther coming in, but it's not much that he can do as Arya is actually taken quite low, but quite low doesn't matter when you've got all this Bloodthirster healing that can come through. Harp lands that CC, in comes Rayfaki. It's a nice disengage coming through from BioPanther, who looked like he might be able to get out, but this bullet time's massive. Low health bars across the rift here for Team Bliss, but nobody goes down except for Violet, who went down immediately at the start.
Yeah, honestly, in that fight, Team Bliss played quite well. They found Arya as their target. Not much Violet can do when you get engaged on without your cleanse or flash on the Varus. The rest of Team Bliss, on the other hand, did find Arya in that fight, but they just don't have the damage to kill him. They all get away on blinking HP bars, but too difficult to take him out at this point.
Yeah, now, after the end of that fight, I mean, they did manage to all survive, but we have now lost our flash here onto Kiwi. We've lost our flash as well on Hayri, and while BioPanther comes in to try and punish Arya, pushing up this wave, Harp as well arriving now, means there's not really anything you can do. Lightning Crash not up, so Arya can't play aggressive, but he can just be defensive at this tower. Now they are looking, Kiwi no flash, Aladark no flash. There's no real reliable way to get here onto the Zeri, and Harp's able to just tank up any attempts that they do look for here on the side of Team Bliss.
Yeah, and I honestly think a lot of players in Arya's position there actually give away their shutdown just because of how many members of Team Bliss were committed to the top side there, but Arya plays safely enough that he's able to get away, has his team there to protect him as well. Meanwhile, Rayfarki's taking advantage of the overcommittal to the top side and getting some damage on this tier 2.
Now, Baron is going to be a point of contention here in this game. DFM, it feels like they can probably hit it whenever they want, and while probably not going to commit to finishing it off, they can just turn a fight. You know, Arya can join the fight from anywhere. Udapon kind of stuck in these pits, has to use his bullet time over the wall if they do try and go that angle.
Oh, lilting.
Yeah, Lilting Lullaby is possible to land here onto Arya, but what follow-up can there be? It doesn't look like all that much. Rayfaki first to the play here. Hayri coming closely behind us. 3.5k left on this Baron's HP, and Harp making sure that no one can get into the pit. That is the Baron now picked up for DFM, as they will have 3 minutes now to push down these lanes.
Yeah, Team Bliss, no attempt to contest that at all. And in that last fight around the mid-tier 2, Bio had an opportunity to exhaust the cannon, but actually just holds on to it. Is only, as the flash hook just misses.
Yeah.
Kevi doing a good job, honestly, this game of dodging out of a lot of these engages, including the Sejuani.
Yeah, it does dodge out of another one there. That dredge line not going to be able to land. You know, many a time Nautilus hooks like that do connect, so well done to not let it randomly hit in the backside of that. He does now pick himself up 2 items on the Lilia. It's going to be the Riftmaker second.
Yeah, very generous is the Nautilus hitbox on the hook.
Now, what wave clear really is there? There's a lot of range, but it's not the best amount of wave clear, especially now there's no longer the lethality. Varus hook goes wide here from Harper's. Aladoric going to dodge out here off the Sejuani ult as well. Kevy trying to run away. It's a nice chain of corruption to stop Steel in his tracks, but how much does he care? Not all that much. Warmog's available here for the Sejuani as that second item means give him a little bit of time, and he is going to be back to full health in almost no time at all. The siege will continue.
Now you're down the chain of corruption for Arya. It feels like maybe the only reliable way to really lock this Zeri down.
They are going to stop their siege. They're not going to opt to push further. Now, there is a minute and a half left off Baron, so they can regroup, look for one more last push, and force Team Bliss to really defend their base. As you see, there is the open, well, not open, but the inhibitor tower is vulnerable in both the mid and bottom lane. Pathing out top doesn't seem DFM are, as there is still that outer tower in terms of standing gold available.
Yeah, Kevy doing his best to get the jungle camps while he can. He is probably not as farmed as he'd like to be at this point in the game on Aurelia.
Infinity Edge now completed.
Yeah.
For Arya on the Zeri. We also have the IE. We have no Essence Reaver for Yutapon this game, but he does have the Infinity Edge. He has the armor shred that he needs, and these bullet times are going to be massive. So it's now kind of getting to the point, right, where you, maybe even if you kill this Zeri, he's going to get damage off, but the 80 carry in Yutapon is still going to be outputting so much damage.
He's still up an item on the Varus on the MF, so even if you deal with this Zeri, you'll have problems with Yutapon, especially if your DFM have just the worst kind of comp for you to run 5 members at a backline carry as well. You're going to have to get through a Sejuani, a Nautilus, a Kennen ulti.
They managed to dodge out here off that engage coming through from Steel, and maybe with that can defend for this Baron. Kevy finding a lot of damage back onto Steel, but again, if he really wants to, can just back off, can get their Warmog's healing going. Siege coming down here into this mid lane inhibitor tower as Rayfaki prepping that mid wave. I think DFM have not done a very good job of stacking those waves, stacking the bot, the mid and the top at the same time to get this siege really going, and Team Bliss have been able to just commit everyone to the one lane, but a massive chunk of damage done from Arya, and as I say that, they are going to pick up mid inhibitor tower. Can they get the inhibitor too? It does feel like they should be able to.
Yeah, DFM may be a little hesitant to commit too hard on any of these objectives, not really in a rush to get out of this game, I guess. I wouldn't be if I was Arya. I don't think you often find yourself this fed another chunk.
Yeah, just throwing out some Lux ults, really, as Arya at this stage of the game. Everyone committing to him. Through goes the engage from Aladoric, but it completely whiffs. And now Arya, they don't have to commit right now, but this is an entire loss of an engage from Aladoric. Magnet Storm's going to be down for a very concerning amount of time. As you see, Arya, he's just playing entirely in the base of Team Bliss. There's no one now that can find an engage on him. A very lucky chain of corruption could come through, but down will come this depth charge. Biopanther trying to run away. Q3 connects onto Arya, but the chain of corruption doesn't. Lightning crash pop. What damage can he find? It doesn't matter. Yutapon's the one that's finding the damage. Arya flashes forward. He is taken down. That's 1,000 gold now onto Harry. It's a 4v4 in the base of Team Bliss as they try and mount a defense. They've taken down that 10 kill Zeri. Does it mean anything though? There is still a lot of fed members of DFM. Forward goes Biopanther. He does have access to that exhaust. Rayfaki trying to find an angle. He gets exhausted. He doesn't even get the ult off. It's a 3v4. Bliss are mounting the defense. 3v3 does come through. This is going to be Violet falling down. But Biopanther is pulling off some phenomenal mechanics on the Cassante to defend the base and keep hopes alive for Oceania.
How on earth have they done this? I think Team Bliss are going to deny the soul now as well. 1 minute on this Baron, so that's not an option for them, unfortunately, but they deny the soul. They get 1k shutdown. I didn't see who got it, but Biopanther plays out of his mind in that fight. Even just connects a Q3 onto Arya could have killed him right then and there.
Unreal. It was Harry on the Corki who picked up that 1k gold shutdown. There's a lot of shutdowns though. There was a shutdown come through onto Yutapon. I believe Biopanther the one to claim that one. But let's take a look.
Yeah, just watch Bio. Watch Bio on Arya here. Could have just killed him right then and there. But then it's nice poke landing onto Arya, and then he just way overextends. He flashes forward here, and Harry just puts him down. And after all the praise we gave him, he just griefs a kill. And DFM have no business hanging around here. You should just go for the dragon at this point. Your entire gold lead is the Zeri, essentially. Yutapon is strong, but again, look at how long it takes him to get through Bio.
And Harry untouched.
Yeah, he still has his exhaust on Bio as well. And the more kills Harry gets, he maybe can match this Zeri in terms of damage now. We'll see. what kind of items he's looking at.
QSS picked up for Arya on that Zeri. He is going to have access to the cleanse now. It means that any sort of form of CC coming through from this Lilith, from Violet, as well as Eladoric, but not so much him, I suppose, is not going to be that effective. Now, a Ray Faki teleport TP ward is in place.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
What can the side of Team Bliss do about it? Hayri has flash, but Violet, he's only got that cleanses. I don't know what happened, but you picked up a lot of gold here on this Corki just to be taken out. Through comes Biopanther. He's finding the damage. All out coming through. Arya's kiting, though. And now that you are an all out, you are just going to get shredded. 3 members. There comes the chain of corruption, though. Violet, he's finding play. He's managed to land it. And it's going to be a 2 for 2, though, as Ray Faki all but certainly is going to go down. He's trying to turn it. No, he doesn't manage to. It is going to be a 2 for 2 in that bot side, but it's DFM who pick up the Baron.
Yeah, well played by Ray Farkey there to get the cleanse out of Violet too. We'll have to see what happened to Harry to go down to Arya, maybe just trying to bait in the first place. And baits a little too well. You've got to hold on to your Nexus now if you're Team Bliss. Let's see what DFM can do. These are fresh members of DFM. Baroned up, all their ultis up. These members of Team Bliss have used a lot of their cooldowns.
So it comes in, it lands onto Violet. No, it doesn't. It lands onto Kiwi, I should say. Down goes one. Nexus Tower. Down goes Kiwi. The knock up onto Violet. He's taken out. Hayri's respawned, though. It's Eladoric and Hayri versus 3. 2 very tanky members in Udapon. And an absolute headshot. It's a quick scope in favor of TFM as they look to put a absolute nail in the coffin here in game number 1.
Yeah, and after a resilient defense from Team Bliss, I don't think you can describe it any other way. Quite impressive that they were managing to take down Arya and make that game as close as it was. It took Udapon kind of stepping up in some of those last team fights to close out the game for DFM.
Yeah, I mean, off the back too, a fantastic team fight from Hayri. Unfortunately, immediately after, we weren't even looking at it. He just dies off our screen. We didn't even see exactly what occurred there. And, you know, yes, it was a 2v1. He did go down. Teleports came through by Panther. He goes down 2. They managed to get 2 back, but they lost the Baron, right? And then you've got 3 members, but you haven't got Hayri, who importantly was the one to pick up that massive shutdown. He also was the one with the majority